Hi, this is Joe from Vanta. In today's digital world, compliance regulations are changing constantly, and earning customer trust has never mattered more. Vanta helps companies get compliant fast and stay secure with the most advanced AI, automation, and continuous monitoring out there. So whether you're a startup going for your first SOC 2 or ISO 27001, or a growing enterprise managing vendor risk, Vanta makes it quick, easy, and scalable. And I'm not just saying that because I work here. Get started at vanta.com.
British Spy Stories. Hi, this is MF Kelleher. Look out for next week's double episode finale to Season 5. And in the new year we start Season 6, Counter-Strike, on British Spy Stories. Season 5, Kill or Be Killed. Episode 30. It's dark as Gabby Lane picks up the latex mask from the Paris robbery, pulls it on over her head, and walks out of the command centre into Frossard Town Square. She tracks along the road that skirts the grounds of the chateau. At the end of the wall to the house, she drops down into the trees to one side of the road and tears off the mask. The two SAS soldiers on guard duty wave her through, and she walks to the tent city that's hidden deep in the undergrowth of the woodland. Major Rogers is in his tent with one of his captains. They are sitting at a desk, with the tunnel maps spread out in front of them, and they stand when Gabby comes in. "Tell me your plan, Rogers." "Two waves, Mum. The perimeter is already secured. Alpha Troop, led by Thornton here, will go in. Blow the tunnel doors at this end, then move forward. We've identified a second tunnel entrance and Captain Carlyle is leading Beta Troop in through there. Beta's objective is to secure the basement and defend our positions. Alpha will destroy the servers." "I'll go with Alpha Troop, Major," she says, flicking her eyes to Thornton. "I'll need a weapon." "MP5 for the Major, Thornton." He refers to the automatic weapon used by the SAS, and the man walks out to collect the gun for her. They discuss some of the finer points of Roger's plan. Then Gabby walks out and talks to the captains Carlyle and Thornton, leading Alpha and Beta troops. After a few minutes, Rogers approaches. "Mom, we have a visitor with the guards back along the path. She says she's part of the operation. Can you confirm? Is Agent Coniston?" "Let her through, Major." Kate appears through the trees, with a large dressing on her right arm. "You're not fit, Kate. I can't have you as part of this," says Gabby. "I didn't come all this way to cry off with some flesh wound." "It's going to be messy." "Since when has that been a reason not to go ahead? We've been through many fights like this, Gab. It's what we do." "That's your gun hand. You won't be able to fire. I'm not having you in there unarmed. Even my left hand is a better shot than you." Kate smiles, then drops her voice. "My job, Gab. Killing people. It's all I have." Gabby thinks for several seconds, and the two women lock their gaze on each other. "Carlyle, another MP5, please, for Coniston," she calls out. "You have an additional resource in Beta Troop." "See you on the other side," says Kate. In the chateau, Hans lays awake next to Rose. He didn't sleep last night, and wishes he had. Yesterday, he'd counted 25 guards in the house and gardens. They're mercenaries, and he'd overheard some of their conversations, so he knows that many were once part of the French elite battalion Chasseurs Alpins. He thinks about his role in the coming operation. Gabby had been clear that he needs to contain Rose once the attack starts, and that there'll be no limits to what he can do to carry out that duty. But he's still unsure of how far he will need to go, and he'll only know that in the heat of battle. An hour later, as the sun starts to break the horizon in the woods, Major Rogers looks at Gabby, who nods almost imperceptibly. "Go, go, go," calls Rogers, and the SAS blades move out. The 16 men of Alpha Troop reach the first tunnel entrance in 2 minutes. The captain orders charges to be laid on the steel door, and a line is run back to a detonator. The boom of explosives echoes through the countryside. Rose, in the chateau, has just dressed. "What was that?"
"I didn't hear anything,"
says Hans. She ignores him and hurries out of the bedroom. Hans follows her as she descends the main staircase. Stephen, her personal security, is in the hallway.
"An explosion, Stephen?"
"We're investigating, madame. Nothing to worry about."
"Where was it?"
she says.
"In the grounds beyond the woods, as far as we can tell."
"One of the tunnel entrances?"
she says, mostly to herself.
"What do you mean?"
says Hans.
"The tunnels!"
she shouts, instantly frustrated by his lack of understanding.
"The priest escape routes. Grandfather put steel doors down there, but if they've been blown, we're vulnerable."
"I'm sure it's nothing,"
says Hans.
"Like Stephen said."
A second blast booms up from the grounds of the chateau, and at that moment 2 of the mercenary guards run in from the driveway.
"There are troops coming in underground, madame."
"Get your men downstairs,"
shouts Rose. Stephen and the mercenaries run to the cellar doorway and disappear inside. Rose turns to Hans.
"You don't look concerned, Clive."
Her eyes bore into him.
"Did you know that this would happen?"
"What are you talking about?"
he says. Her gaze has not left his face.
"I love you, Rose. I wouldn't do anything to hurt you."
For a moment they stand in silence. Then he touches her arm.
"You have to learn to trust someone."
He can see her face is thawing slightly.
"You've got a security room, haven't you?"
he says.
"With video feeds from your cameras. Let's go there. At least we can see what's really happening."
He holds out his hand to her. At the first tunnel entrance, the heavy steel doors are hanging off their hinges after the explosion, and 2 of Alpha Troop smash the remains of the metal away to give access to the tunnel mouth. Thornton, Gabby and the Blades all slip inside and into the darkness, the high lumen lights on their weapons bouncing off the brickwork as they make their way closer to the target. A group of mercenaries are waiting for them at the far end of the tunnel, and the first shots come when Alpha Troop is 30 yards from the main underground room. Alpha fall back to a defensive position, and the gunfire stops. Over the comms headsets, Carlisle reports that Beta Troop are through the second tunnel entrance and moving forward. In a coordinated move, men from Alpha and Beta attack the main room in the basement. The mercenaries sustain injuries, but also roll out waves of defensive gunfire to pin down Beta, and Carlisle falls his men back into the second tunnel. A group of mercenaries then attack Alpha with flamethrowers. A wooden ceiling panel in the tunnel catches fire, and the flames spread along to the office partitions, which start to burn too. Beta Troop roll out an attack to the flank of the mercenaries and split the enemy into 2 groups. One half escapes up the curved staircase and into the house, and the other half moves further along into the first tunnel. Over comms, the captains agree that Beta will go up into the house, and Alpha will focus on the cellar. The mercenaries continue to fire on Alpha Troop, but the SAS blades are gradually pushing them back, up the tunnel, towards the IT room, and the servers that need to be destroyed. Suddenly a grenade is thrown at Alpha's position. The blast catches one of the men, who sustains arm injuries. A second grenade is thrown by the mercenaries, and Thornton moves his men out of the blast radius and back towards the entrance. In the Chateau's hallway, Carlisle, Kate, and Beta Troop corner 3 of the mercenaries. One man attacks Kate, and her gun jams, so she leans back and delivers a kick to his throat, then another to his groin. He goes down, and one of Beta Troop binds his arms and legs with plastic ties. Beta Troop emerge from the main doors of the chateau and spread out across the gardens to the rear of the house. This section of the mercenaries has taken up a defensive position around the terrace, and gunfire peals out from their SIG MPX automatic weapons. Beta is momentarily pinned down between the terrace and the house. "Did you bring sniper rifles, Captain?" Kate says to Carlyle.
A couple? Why?
"I'm in C9. Get me one of the rifles."
A gun is moved across to Kate, and she lays just beneath the grass bank that leads from the terrace to the lower gardens. Due to her injury, she has to use her left hand. She lines up the sight. She can see the man leading this group of mercenaries. Her breathing slows. Her finger squeezes the trigger. A single shot rings out, and the man's head shatters. The SAS rise together and use Kate's kill as an opportunity. 2 more of the enemy are hit, and the rest fall back to the far end of the lawns. Underground, the smoke from the fires has reduced visibility to only a few feet. The offices are now black and collapsing, but the concern in Gabby's mind is the advancing fire along the first tunnel, as the wooden ceiling panels carry the flames closer towards Alpha Troop.
"There are oil tanks near us, Captain," says Gabby. "If the flames get much further, they could blow before we reach our target."
The 2 of them agree that they must take the men through the wall of flame, and Thornton orders fire hoods to be donned, and the SAS blades run towards the fire. As Laravel's mind swims into consciousness, the first thing she notices is a new smell. Not dampness now, but smoke. She is weaker than the last time she was awake. She is barely able to move her limbs at all. She may be dreaming all this. Her mind isn't functioning properly from the lack of food and light. She doesn't know how long she's been down here. Laravel starts to cough as the smoke pushes under the door. Is that the sound of running feet? Maybe that's her imagination too. She coughs more. On the surface, the mercenaries near Beta Troop reach the transport that they had parked on the edge of the woodland. A jeep with 3 men in it suddenly accelerates towards the SAS position. 1 man is driving, and there are 2 more in the back with automatic weapons blasting. The driver is hit with a bullet, and the jeep continues out of control towards the SAS blades. One of the mercenaries pushes the dead driver off the vehicle and grabs the wheel. The remaining gunman manages to hit one of Beta Troop before the jeep scurries away back to the trees, and Carlyle orders medical attention for the injured man. In the chateau's security room, Rose is becoming more angry by the second.
"Who are these fucking people? Someone must have talked."
She and Hans can see fire spreading underground, and the fighting in the house and the grounds.
"At least the servers are still safe," she says. "The fire is nowhere near the IT room. They're mostly down the corridor where we put that girl."
Hans can feel his heart miss a beat.
"The girl who tried to damage the software,"
he says.
"I was going to kill her anyway. This will just do it more painfully for her. She deserves it."
Hans can feel his adrenaline pumping.
"Is this all worth it, Rose?"
he says.
"Seagrass will have backup servers anyway."
It's the moment that Hans has been dreading. The moment that he says something that his cover life, Clive Fremont, couldn't possibly know. Rose is suddenly calm.
"It's you, isn't it? You've done this. Who are you?"
"I don't know what you're—"
he starts to say, But Rose is already moving towards him. Her fingers push under her top, and he sees something in her hand. She stabs the knife at his stomach, but her aim is off, and the blade only grazes the skin on the side of his torso. But Rose is quick. She pulls back and comes again, this time pushing the blade up from below. He is cut on the arm, and her eyes are a blazing inferno.
Rose,
Her third blow is more damaging, and the knife sinks into the soft flesh of his abdomen. Hans makes a fist and hits her on the side of the head. Rose spins away and onto the floor. She is unconscious, but Hans is bleeding from the last wound. He scours the cupboards for a medical box, finds one and pulls it open, spilling the contents. He takes antiseptic, pulls off the top, grits his teeth, and pours the yellow liquid onto his stomach wound. He can't stop himself crying out as the pain pushes through his body. He sits on the floor as the agony rolls into his flesh. After a minute, Hans finds a bandage. He rolls it around his stomach, and the endorphins have dulled the pain enough for him to stand up. He checks the video screens in front of him. He has to find Laravel. He raids the cupboard for any useful equipment, and there's a high-powered torch, so he takes that with him. As he reappears in the hallway of the chateau, the place is in chaos. Bodies lay dead or injured on the floor, and the sound of gunfire cascades in from the outside. Suddenly, an SAS blade is there, and he raises his rifle.
MI6, mate.
Hans holds his palms out. You got ID?
No,
says Hans.
Call Major Gabby Lane on comms. She'll vouch for me. I'm Agent Hans.
The blade talks on his headset and gets the confirmation and a description.
You should get out of here, mate,
he says.
I need to find someone downstairs.
You won't survive down there, mate. Not without a larvae. The man refers to breathing apparatus.
Have you got a fire hood on you?
The soldier pulls a hood from the pocket in his battle dress and holds it out. Hans takes it, and the man runs back outside. The smoke is rolling out of the door to the basement, as Hans stands at the top of the curved staircase and pulls the fire escape hood down around his head. He walks down slowly through the smoke and sees the devastation before him. The previously neat and orderly offices have been largely destroyed by fire and are now black, smouldering carcasses. There are bodies of mercenary guards down here too. There's a group of SAS on the far side of the space, gathered around the sealed server room, and he moves swiftly into the first tunnel mouth to avoid being seen. He starts to walk further into the tunnel. Hans passes the wine stores and continues until he's right up near the fire. The flames are licking out from the ceiling, a few feet above him, when he stops. The smoke is denser here. Some of the brickwork has fallen away from the heat of the blaze, and it litters the floor. Hans shines his torch against the tunnel walls. This is definitely where he was before, when Rose suddenly found him. This is where he heard someone calling out. The sounds of the inferno stop him from being able to hear anything at first. Then, he becomes aware of a cough. Then another. He runs to the door where the coughs seem to be coming from. The door's locked. He raises his boot and rams it against the wood, but the old door is solid. He kicks again. The door splinters. Hans shines the torch inside. Laravel is there, on the floor. And at that moment, a fireball licks out along the corridor and into the room, and the orange flames are reflected in Hans' wide eyes.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. You know, one of the perks about having 4 kids that you know about is actually getting a direct line to the big man up north. And this year, he wants you to know the best gift that you can give someone is the gift of Mint Mobile's unlimited wireless for $15 a month. Now, you don't even need to wrap it. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.